What's up guys, this is Brent here with Inside Audio, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Strymon Nightsky. Now the Nightsky is their newest pedal in their lineup, and it's sort of a successor to the really popular Big Sky, which was probably one of the most sold pedals over the last 5 to 10 years. Now, I'm personally a Big Sky owner, and I love my Big Sky. I don't ever plan on selling it. And for me, the Nightsky does a lot of things that the Big Sky doesn't, but whether it does them better, that's what we're going to find out in this video. So I'll give you my verdict at the end, and let's have a look at the technical specs now and what this pedal is actually capable of. So for this demonstration, I'm going to be using my Modal Argon 8 wavetable synth. And the reason is I think that this does a better job of showing off the capabilities of the Nightsky as opposed to just using, say, a guitar. Now, obviously this is a guitar pedal, but it also has a line and instrument level input and output on the back. So it means you don't have to use any reamping boxes or gain staging plugins. And it just means that you can use stuff like synths straight away without any other boxes involved. So I'm just going to show you the Rhodes dry patch I have here on the Argon, and then we're going to go straight into the 8 presets, which are along this sort of step sequencer here. And then you can hold down one of the buttons and it gives you another 8. So there's in total 16 on a bank of 8. So here's the dry patch. It's got a tiny bit of tremolo, but absolutely nothing else. So let's begin and have a listen to some of these presets. Oh, that's nice. So a bit of LFO modulation sort of thing happening there. That one definitely had some saturation and distortion afterwards. That was a really nice sounding reverb, but it had an interval set to something like a third, I think. So it sort of made the harmony a little bit too interesting. That one's really nice because it has a long pre-delay, so it means that your keys isn't completely engulfed by the reverb straight away. That's a lovely sort of octave shimmer that I could. And that's like a ramp down sort of thing. That's very interesting. Now we're on to second bank. Again, it's sort of got like a modulation-y tremolo, but with a reverb tail. So sort of like 3 pedals in one at the minute, isn't it? That's interesting. So that's actually playing a whole tone scale. So you can see how this could be used in film scores for sure. That's almost like a slapback delay. And that's definitely got the longest reverb tail on by a long shot. And our very last preset. That's interesting. The last preset is by far the most subtle, and that's definitely something worth mentioning is this pedal is not a subtle pedal. Most of the presets, 99% of them, it's a serious change in the source material, almost unrecognizable for some of them. And you're definitely getting quite a few pedals in one because you're getting some modulation happening, you're getting some reverb and some pitch shifting happening. So I can see why they're calling it this time warped reverberator, because this is significantly different to other reverb pedals. In fact, I don't know if you could definitely call it a reverb pedal, but it certainly is more than just a reverb pedal. Okay, so if we take a look at the parameters that we have available to us on the front of the pedal, we have a modulation section, our decay, a dry wet mix, a voice mode with control over the shimmer, and a tone feature. So I'm going to set away a sequence, and I'm just going to change all of these parameters so you can hear what they all do. And we're doing this just on this first preset here. And that's full wet reverb. And that's completely dry. And that's cutting out a lot of the highs. And the same for the lows. Now currently the actual mod section up here is targeting the reverb, but if we change it to pitch, then we can start to get control over the voice here. And that's an octave below. If we take a look at the decay textures, we have sparse, dense, and diffuse. Sparse is a granular algorithm, dense is a plate, and diffuse is a really slow building reverb. So if we have a listen to them, and we can demonstrate the different sound sources that are available within the actual reverb engine. There's a couple of menu diving things about this pedal that I wouldn't say I would advise to use, especially on gigs. These are features that I really think make it geared towards more of a studio application, and I'll show you exactly what they mean now. So if I set the sequence away again. So if I want to control the pre-delay, I can't do that unless I hold down this knob and change the reverb. So a little bit unusual, that's something like pre-delay, which is a really common control. And on their other pedals, such as the Big Sky, the Timeline, they're just on a knob. You have to, go into a menu that isn't actually visible with the screen. So I'm not sure if I'm keen on that. It's nice that it's there. It's nice that they've actually put it in the pedal, but I think they've crammed a lot into such a compact box, which is great. But there's been a couple of sacrifices along the way with things like pre-delay, as well as you can adjust the Q with exactly the same control with the reverb. So this reverb knob is not just reverb, it does a lot of other things. Another big feature, which is somewhat hidden, is actually the sequencer. Now, I know what you're thinking, sequencer on a reverb pedal. This is new. And it does sound great, and it's a really good thing to bring into a sound design tool like this. But again, we've got to go into a little bit of a menu, and to control it, we have to, again, use some of the knobs and dial them in. So it's a little bit of guesswork until you know exactly what you're doing. So let me show you how you do that. We hold down this knob here, or this button, and that takes us into sequencer mode. And then we have all of these buttons here, just like a traditional step sequencer. Now, if we skip each button like this, that means it'll play 1, 3, 5, 7, and 8. So you can imagine how you can do scale combinations on here. So if I just set away a patch, I can actually get that sequencer to work, and then I can tap in the tempo where it says favorite and sequence tap here. So I'll set away my actual device over here. So not great in terms of sound, and that's because I haven't picked the pitches. So what I can do is, before I set away the sequence tap, if I just come back to the infinite mode here, turn off this sequence tap, I can then set the actual sequence and pick the interval that's going to play over those sequences. So how I can do that is I can say, I'll pick scale mode, and then I'll do 1. There we go, I've picked them set of notes, and now what I'll do is I'll change the size and pitch, and you have to do that using the decay parameter. Now it's programmed to a more unique set of intervals. So the sequencer is probably something you could spend a lot of time in, and I think that if you really learn how to use it, you could probably create some really unique things here. So I think it's always going back to, with this pedal, it's unique. It's not trying to be a traditional reverb pedal. It's trying to be something completely different. And again, some of the features on this are really, really impressive. Like the step sequencer, it really is a great tool. It's just knowing how to use it. And to be honest, I haven't had enough time with this pedal to know exactly the way I want to get it to sound. But once you have a basic understanding, you can dial it in and you can get things going. I think it would just be, if you had time to play with it hours on end, you could probably come up with some really interesting compositions. So to summarize, I think that the Nightsky is actually more of a composition production tool that should live in the studio. For me personally, and from a lot of other people that I've talked to about this pedal, I'm not sure if it's designed to live on a pedal board. Now, I know that it is a guitar pedal, but when we look at the I/O and all of the complexities of this pedal and some of the things we have to do with menu diving, makes me think that maybe this wouldn't even be possible on a gig unless you had everything pre-programmed or at like a high level so you could control it with your hands. So there's no denying this would sound fantastic on a gig. I just personally think that it might be better playing with it in the studio with synthesizers, or even routing out audio to it and using it as like a hardware effect. So for me personally, I think that the Nightsky will be brilliant in the studio, but for stage use, I'm not so sure. So I hope you found this video useful, and I'll see you guys in the next video.